Welcome back to Beat Up Builds. My fridge is dead. So I came out here last night to grab a nice adult beverage, and all the ice that was built up on here, it was dripping down. My beers were still cold, thankfully, but the fridge was no longer working. Now, I have no idea how old this fridge actually is. I got it for free. The gasket was kind of screwed up here. I just stuffed RTV into it. And that worked pretty well. The fridge itself was working perfectly. And it just kind of like up and wasn't working. So I'm going to try and troubleshoot it. I've got nothing to lose at this point. I mean, it doesn't work. So it either isn't going to work after messing with it, or it is going to work. So let's screw around a little bit with it, see what we can do. The first thing I'm going to do is just plug it in case it, by some miracle, it just works again. And if not, maybe there's some clues. Like I was messing around with the dial in here, and it seemed like I turned it up to 10 just to see if that would do anything. And it seemed like if you turn it off, it would click, like a relay or something would click. So stuff is still happening, and I doubt that like the coolant has just like randomly leaked out of it. So I'm thinking like either like the thermostat inside possibly, or unless there's some kind of over temperature like sensor out here or something. Just like something is just telling it not to work, I think is what I'm guessing at. But let me mess around with it, bring you guys along, and hopefully at the end of the day we can fix this thing. Oh look, there's a tag back here. Does it say how old it is? Focus. If I do that, does that help? Not really. I don't know. Let me see if I can read it. If there's any date on there. Made in Korea. I think that means it's old. I don't remember anything lately being made in Korea. Anyway. I don't know. Let's mess around with it. Oh look, there's a circuit diagram here. Wow, we have a lot of info here. This definitely is not brand new. Because they don't put this kind of stuff on things anymore. They don't give you circuits. Cool. We have stuff to work with. Alright, let's see what we can do. Alright, so I plugged it in. And I was messing with the dial. And I heard things clicking. So my advice, honestly, when you have things that are messed up, is observe first. Observe everything. See if there's anything that's clearly screwed up. And also just play around with some of the dials and things. Sometimes dials are just not, I don't know, something will give you an insight. I've had certain machines where, like, if you adjust the dials too low, it wouldn't work. So it's good to just play with things first. Just playing with this. Yeah, did you hear that? Ooh, I felt the motor try and kick. I wonder... I don't know if you guys heard it. But I felt the motor like rotate, like half a rotation. Just did it again. I wonder... It might just need a capacitor. So basically the think that's what this guy is here. I gotta double check though. But basically your capacitor, it kind of helps the motor get going, because the motor, it draws a lot when it first starts going, that first like couple seconds. So they'll put a capacitor in there to help with that draw and to get it going. So I wonder if that's what's going on here. Now I don't know. I think the motor's built into this whole thing. I'm not super familiar with refrigeration stuff. Oh look, it's R12. This thing is old, I think. I don't think they run R12 in a while. Cool. So I'm kind of thinking that, and I think it might be in here. So I might screw around with that. We got some power wires going in right here. Looks like maybe there's a cover I could pop off. Yeah, I could do something with that. I think I have a capacitor from a washing machine somewhere too, which maybe would be too big, but I don't know if you can really go too big. Yeah, let me screw around a little more. I think that's kind of where we're at there. Let me see if that's the if I can figure out if that's the problem or not. So I just smacked it and it started working. Do you hear that? I think those are contacts in there. It's kind of weird, this diagram. So, the right hand side of the motor, it shows those two things there, this I don't know, this above the springy thing. Those are contacts. So it sounds like those are bucking and bouncing, not totally connecting. And sometimes they do just get wore out, so perhaps that's what that problem is. I did go in here and smack the thermostat, and that's what got it working, but it may have just jolted the whole thing, I don't know. And this is ice cold, so like it's working still. It's more or less whatever's. Really, the question is it the thermostat or is it those contacts? So now it's working again. I don't know if you saw that I turned it on and off. Now it's working great. Let's turn it all the way off. Back on. It's working fine now. That is weird. So what do we do at this point? Don't know. Maybe turn it on and off a couple more times. I'm gonna screw around with it. Let me see if I can break it again. So I've decided that it's the thermostat. And I'm going to confirm that now with you guys. So basically the way this thermostat works is, depending upon the temperature, it activates a switch in here. And if it gets too warm, the switch connects and the compressor turns on until it cools down, and then the switch separates. That's basically how it works. It's extremely simple. So what I've done here is I've jumped it out. So it's just jumping the power through, like the switch is connected, like it's warm. I'm just going to run it for a very short period of time, just to confirm that this is what the problem is. And I'm pretty sure it is. So let's plug it in. Just going to plug it in a couple times, and that's it. That's all there is to it. I'm pretty confident this is going to work. So let's try it out. Alright, hear that? Turned right on. Let's unplug it. And plug it in again. Right back on. Alright, do it one more time to confirm. So that thermostat's what our problem is here. So luckily, you might not do this on more modern stuff. They're jerks with modern stuff. They don't want you to fix it. So this has a part number. It's got, see how it says 120, 240. So like 240 is the right-hand side. 120 is the left-hand side. I think the LRA is like the inrushing amps. Like when you turn it on, it draws more amps. So I think it says it's drawing 60 amps, or it's rated up to 60 amps at least. And the constant like amps is like that 10. That's what I'm thinking here. If I can find this part number, I'll get the same one as long as it's affordable. If it's really expensive, we'll go with something else. Alright, I removed our old thermostat. This is our new one. Very similar. Let's see if it fits, because I'm not actually sure. It's not the same part number or anything. It just looked like it would fit and it was cheap. Alright, that was a pain in the butt. I got it in there. My knob doesn't fit anymore. Let's just, I turned it in the middle with vice grips. Let's see if the knob, or if, let's just see if it turns on. Hopefully we fixed it. It's running. Is your refrigerator running? Better go catch it. Kind of funny, not really. I hear it running. Alright, looks like we fixed the fridge for $6. Can't go wrong with that. Most people would have just threw it in the garbage.